Hey guys, today I'm going to make some corned beef and potatoes. So let's get crocking. I have some russet potatoes here. These aren't very big. There's about 10 of them there. So anyway, I washed those off. I'm going to cut those up and leave the skin on. They're going to go in the bottom of the slow cooker. Then I have this, it's corned beef brisket point cut. This one was 3.63 pounds, $3.99 per pound. So this piece of meat was $14.48. So you can see there's a fair amount of fat in there. What I'm going to do is cut this up and just trim that excess fat out. And this is, the seasoning is already in there. Some of these corned beef have a seasoning packet that you add when you cook it, but this already has the seasoning mixed in there. So I'm just going to rinse this off before I cut it up. So anyway, let me get those potatoes cut up and get those in there, and then I'll cut up that meat. I didn't cut the potatoes up too small because corned beef takes a long time to cook and they might just kind of disintegrate and turn to mush if I cut them too small. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of oil. This is avocado oil, just to kind of coat them and give them a little bit of moisture. You can use any kind of oil you want though. And I'm going to season them with some Johnny's seasoned pepper. Besides pepper, this has sugar, red and green bell pepper, garlic, and onion in it. I'm not going to add any salt because corned beef is pretty salty, so I don't want to over salt it. You could always add a little more salt at the end if you want some, but now I'm going to just get the corned beef cut up and put it on top, and then that meat will cook and the juice from the meat will cook down through the potatoes. Now I'm going to open up the corned beef here and rinse it off. When I said it takes a long time to cook, what I meant was it takes a long time to get tender. You can cook it pretty fast, but it'll be tough as nails. When it first cooks, it gets really hard and firm, but it takes a long time to cook at a low heat, and then it kind of starts to break down and get tender. So pretty good looking piece of meat there. Like I said, what I'm going to do is just cut it into pieces and trim the excess fat off of there. That's all cut up into pieces, kind of like stew meat. This is how much fat I cut off of there. It's a pretty good amount of fat. You could probably add carrots to that if you wanted to too, I guess. I think I'll sprinkle just a little bit more of the Johnny's seasoned pepper on the top. Season the meat with a little bit of that. And I already have the crock pot on high right now because this takes a while to cook and I want to kind of get it going. So I'm going to let it cook on high for the first couple hours and then turn it down to low. But you know, if you're just going to leave and go to work or whatever, I would just put it on low and let it cook all day. It's been 2.5 hours. I'm going to turn this down to low now, but I want to show you what the meat looks like real quick before I do that. See, this meat is probably cooked right now, but it's really, really firm and really, really tough. It's really, you can't even hardly poke a fork into it. So it just needs to cook for, you know, a lot longer before it breaks down and gets tender. But also, see, I didn't add any liquid, and you can already see how much liquid is forming in there. It makes a lot of liquid as it cooks, as the juices cook out of the meat. So I'm going to get the lid back on there, and we'll check it later on. This has been cooking for 8 hours, so let's take a look now. See how much liquid's in there now? It made all that liquid on its own. I didn't add any extra liquid at all. And see the meat? It's starting to break apart. When I stick a fork in it, it breaks apart. See, it's just crumbling apart. So I think that's about how I want it. So I'm just going to shut that off right there and we'll try it out. This isn't the most exciting thing to look at, but if you just like meat and potatoes, I think this is going to be really good. See how that corned beef just breaks up with the fork tender, and potatoes kind of held together pretty well because I cut them in, you know, fairly good sized chunks. So let's try a bite. It came out good. It has a lot of flavor and the meat's nice and tender. Annie's driving me nuts over here, so I guess we'll let her try it. There you go, Annie. Inhaled. I'll bet I could make some good breakfast with that. Throw it in a pan with a couple eggs. A lot better than that corned beef hash in a can. Anyway, I'll write everything in the description like usual. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.